For nearly a century, the Volkswagen logo was the gold standard of global engineering, the ultimate blue chip of industrial stability and a guarantee of lifelong employment. Today, that foundation is experiencing structural failures that threaten the entire organization. We are no longer looking at a standard market correction. Volkswagen is currently evaluating the largest staff reductions in its history, with reports indicating over 100,000 jobs in several domestic factories are on the chopping block. To put the severity into perspective, some industry analysts warn that without a radical overhaul, we could be discussing the liquidation of the company, meaning the total closing of the business and selling off of its assets, within the next 3 to 5 years. How did the pioneers of the automobile lose their market lead? The data suggests a long-term pattern of industrial arrogance. While German leadership dismissed early electric vehicle, EV competitors like Tesla, and ignored Chinese newcomers a decade ago, their rivals were rewriting the business model. They shifted from a focus on high-end mechanical manufacturing to creating what experts call an iPad with 4 wheels, essentially prioritizing software, artificial intelligence, and digital connectivity over traditional engine performance. In this analysis, we are examining the dip, a critical transitional period where an outdated business model fails, creating a high-risk gap before a new strategy can take hold. This crisis is a domestic domino effect. As VW struggles, major suppliers like Continental, ZF, and Bosch are also forced to lay off thousands of workers, threatening the specialized small to medium businesses that form the backbone of the European economy. The teacher has now become the student. To survive, VW is currently restructuring itself around Chinese technology, forming joint ventures with firms like XPeng to gain access to the software and battery systems they failed to develop internally. The goal of this analysis is to determine the practical business value of these new partnerships and whether Europe is willing to adjust its high labor costs and strict data regulations to remain competitive in a landscape they no longer dominate. This isn't just about one car company, it is a global power shift where legacy brands must decide to either adapt to new tech standards or face permanent market exit. To understand why Volkswagen, VW, is at this tipping point, we have to look at a century of market dominance that led to a dangerous level of complacency. For decades, the German business mindset was rooted in the fact that they invented the modern automobile. This created a belief among management that no global competitor, whether from America, Japan, or Korea, could ever replicate the mechanical precision of brands like Audi or Porsche. This institutional pride created a massive blind spot in their strategic planning. A decade ago, German executives were publicly dismissive of Tesla. While Western leaders viewed early electric vehicles, EVs, as cheap or simple cars that couldn't match German quality, China was executing a long-term industrial strategy. 20 years ago, China had already integrated electric vehicles into its national economic 5-year plans. Despite VW having a business presence in China for over 40 years, leadership failed to act on this clear data, assuming their manufacturing lead was untouchable. The core failure was a gap in business mindset. German engineering remained focused on the perfection of the combustion engine. Meanwhile, the new competition in Asia approached the market from a different angle. They didn't just build a car and add a screen. They built an iPad with 4 wheels. This term describes a shift where a car's value is defined more by its software and artificial intelligence, AI, than its mechanical parts. By the time German brands realized the industry's center of gravity had moved from hardware to digital technology, they were already years behind. The current crisis reveals a striking irony in the history of joint ventures, business partnerships where 2 companies pool resources for a specific goal. In the 1980s, when German car makers first entered China, they were the teachers, providing the technical know-how to build high-quality vehicles. Today, that dynamic has completely flipped. The student has surpassed the teacher. We are now in an era where VW is no longer exporting expertise. It is survival shopping for innovation. To secure its future, VW has entered a high-stakes partnership with the Chinese EV manufacturer XPeng to gain access to their superior software and AI. Similarly, Audi has partnered with the Chinese firm SAIC to develop a new digital EV platform, the underlying skeleton of the car, specifically for the Chinese market. This shift extends to the brains of the vehicle as well. VW's software division is now working with Horizon Robotics to develop automated driving systems and specialized computer chips. This represents a total restructuring of the industry. It is no longer about using foreign factories for cheap labor. It is about rebuilding German brands around Chinese technology. For a company that was once the shining example of industrial independence, the practical business reality is clear. To have a future, they must now learn to follow the lead of their former pupils. The crisis at Volkswagen is not an isolated event. It is the first domino in a chain reaction that is rattling the entire German industrial base. While VW's potential layoffs of 100,000 people make the headlines, they are described as just the tip of the iceberg. Major competitors like Mercedes and BMW are also cutting staff, and the ripple effects are tearing through the supply chain. Critical suppliers like Continental ZF and Bosch, once symbols of German engineering reliability, are now forced to lay off thousands as the demand for traditional components shifts or disappears. This instability poses a direct threat to the middle stand, the small and medium-sized hidden champions that form the backbone of the German economy. These companies are the lifeblood of automotive supply chains. But as their primary customers struggle, they become vulnerable. Some observers, including leadership at major U.S. tech firms, have even suggested that it is time to repatriate these industrial jewels to America, arguing that the German economic engine is no longer a safe bet. As German giants pull back, Asian competitors are moving in to fill the vacuum with aggressive precision. Companies like BYD are establishing a manufacturing presence in Hungary, while battery giants like KATL are expanding directly into Germany. Experts warn that these international players may soon play monopoly with the German industry, potentially buying up the very factories that VW and others are forced to abandon as they struggle to maintain their old models. There is a persistent fear of a brain drain, that Germany's highly qualified engineers and researchers will flee to the US or China, where they can be paid better to work for growing companies. However, experts argue that most German talent actually wants to stay. The issue isn't the lack of skill, but the lack of flexibility in the system they work within. To survive this domino effect, Germany must address deep-seated structural rigidities, including inflexible labor laws and data security regulations, that currently hinder the rapid integration of AI and software compared to the more agile Chinese production model. This industrial decline leads us to a painful economic reality check. Germany is facing a fundamental conundrum regarding its future. For decades, the nation has balanced high-end manufacturing with a world-class standard of living, rigorous environmental goals, and strict bureaucratic regulations. However, experts warn that it is impossible to maintain this high level of ethics, morals, lifestyle, and entertainment while simultaneously trying to emulate the hyper-efficient Chinese production model. To survive, Germany may have to make what some call the sacrifice. This means potentially getting rid of some of the nation's dearest things to allow for faster industrial adaptation. One specific example is the trade-off between data security and innovation. While Europe prides itself on strict privacy, this same regulation often hinders the rapid implementation of AI into cars, a field where Chinese manufacturers are currently far more flexible. There is a hard truth emerging. If the industry cannot adjust its standards of living and its beloved habits, it faces a huge problem in the coming years. This period of transition is what we call the dip. There's a growing consensus among analysts that the situation for Volkswagen and the broader German car industry will likely get much worse before it gets better. This is partly because many people, including high-level politicians, have not yet fully grasped how dire the situation truly is. The danger phase of this crisis is necessary to shatter the remaining complacency, forcing a collective realization that the old way of doing business is no longer a viable path forward. As the crisis deepens, the political conversation in Berlin and Brussels has centered on a single buzzword: de-risking. The idea is to shield the European market, reduce dependency on Chinese supply chains, and perhaps follow the American lead. The reality is that the United States is increasingly decoupling from Europe itself, and is no longer viewed by many as a reliable strategic partner. If Europe cuts ties with the East while the West pulls away, it risks being left completely isolated. The alternative is a difficult but perhaps necessary path of deep cooperation. Proponents of this view argue that it is already too late for Europe to try and win a solo race in battery technology or AI. Instead of trying to shield a market that Chinese companies are already entering by building their own European factories to evade tariffs, the focus should shift to working together. This isn't just about China, it's about a broader engagement with India, Vietnam, and Indonesia to ensure Germany remains part of the global technological conversation. Crucially, this is not a one-way street. While we often talk about Europe's dependency on China, the interdependence is profound. At least 15 million jobs in the European Union are vital to the Chinese economy. China faces a huge problem with its massive EV surplus if it cannot access the European market, especially since they are largely locked out of the US. This gives Europe significant negotiating leverage, but only if it can stop its internal bickering. The strategic crossroads requires the major powers of Europe, France, Germany, Italy, and the UK, to finally speak with one voice. By doing so, they can negotiate a future where they grow alongside Asian innovators rather than being steamrolled by them. The choice is stark: continue trying to build walls around an aging industry, or admit that the only way to survive is to cooperate with the very rivals that are currently outpacing them. To understand the ultimate fate of Volkswagen and the German car industry, we have to look at the Chinese concept of a crisis, Weiji. As Professor Manuel Ferra explains, the word is composed of two parts, Wei, meaning danger, and Ji, meaning chance or opportunity. The danger is immediate and undeniable. When we look into the crystal ball for the next 2 to 5 years, the future for the German car industry is not very bright. Experts warn that the situation will likely get much worse before the public, and more importantly, the politicians truly understand the depth of the trauma. This danger phase is a necessary shock to a system that has been insulated by a century of success. It is the catalyst required to force CEOs and politicians to admit a hard truth. Mistakes were made, and the old model is broken. But within this danger lies the chance. The dip provides Germany and Europe with a unique opportunity to avoid total liquidation by radically shifting their mindset. This means moving away from the arrogance of the past and embracing a future built on flexibility in labor laws, in data security, and in the speed of innovation. It also means recognizing a new geopolitical reality as the United States becomes an unreliable partner that is increasingly decoupling from Europe. The chance for Europe lies in building a stronger, unified voice to cooperate with the rising economies of the East, including India, Vietnam, and Indonesia. We are already seeing the first signs of this new world order. Volkswagen is no longer just a German manufacturer. It is restructuring itself around Chinese technology, using Chinese software, AI, and chips, even within the walls of its own factories. Whether you call this a surrender to the inevitable or a masterful adaptation, it is the start of a global realignment. The story of the VW crisis is more than just a tale of corporate struggle. It is a preview of the Weiji facing the entire Western industrial base. The danger is that the engineers of the world could be left behind. The chance is that by finally listening, adapting, and cooperating, they can find a new way to grow in a landscape they no longer dominate. The next 5 years will determine if Europe can turn this existential threat into its greatest transformation. So, where does this leave us? The engineers of the world are at a crossroads. As we have seen, the next 5 years will likely be a painful period of adjustment for Volkswagen and the entire German economy. This is the ultimate Weiji moment. The danger is that tens of thousands of jobs are on the line and legendary factories are being sold off to the highest bidder. But the chance lies in a total reimagining of what European industry looks like in a world where the US is increasingly viewed as an unreliable partner and the East is the new center of technological innovation. Whether you see this as a masterclass in strategic adaptation or a slow-motion surrender to the inevitable, the reality is that German industry is currently being rebuilt from the inside out, using Chinese software, AI, and battery technology. To avoid the looming threat of liquidation, companies like VW must move faster than ever, cutting through bureaucracy, and potentially sacrificing long-held standards of living to compete in a leaner, more aggressive global market. Now, I want to hear from you. Is Volkswagen's crisis just a temporary dip, or are we witnessing the permanent decline of the traditional European car industry? Can the teacher truly learn enough from the student to survive? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to get a conversation started on whether you think cooperation or decoupling is the right path forward. If you found this analysis helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the intersection of money, power, and global consequences. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next analysis.